Real estate is about freedom, choice freedom, time freedom, and money freedom, and the impact you can make with that freedom. But it doesn't come without cost. Your freedom takes work. That's why Neil Timmons brings together the tools you need to build your real estate legacy, from tips and tricks to interviews with industry titans. It's all here in one place. Real Grit. Let's get to it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm here with Brandy Pollack. He's in a couple of markets. We're going to get into that in a second, but he's out of South Florida. He's been an entrepreneur for 28 years, and he reinvented himself and got a unique backstory about how he did that when he was 36 years old. He's a proud father of two boys, loves to mountain bike. So, Brandy, how you doing?
Doing well. How you doing today, Neil?
I'm great, thanks. And he's on the road. He is while he's out of South Florida, he's got a number of buy and holds in Memphis. So he's joining us from Memphis, Tennessee, a very good market, a hot market.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been busy for you. Well, listen, life's a journey. Tell me about your backstory and how you got into real estate, and walk me through that. You really reinvented yourself and then ended up in real estate. So tell me about that.
Perfect. Well, I just want to start by saying I really appreciate you having me on this show. You. And you started it. You just said something real quick. You said life's a journey, and it is really a journey. So I basically started my entrepreneurial career. I graduated college in 1994. I thought I was going to be able to go to law school due to my own shortcomings and not putting enough into it. That didn't happen. So I got involved in a family business. The family business was we manufactured children's clothing in Central and South America. So I literally
the manufacturing was out of Central and South America. Where was the distribution?
Distribution was all of the United States. So we would manufacture and then sell to like the big box realtors, the big box companies,
Kids
Sears,
Are Us,
Costco, Kids Are Us. Yeah, exactly.
When they're in business.
So so manufactured in Central America, learned Spanish very well, being thrust into a factory of 200 women. I said, well, what's going on? They looked at me and they said, "K," which means what in Spanish. And little by little, they taught me. Became incredible. So I saw that we had a need in the business. So when I would, like you said, 28 years an entrepreneur. So a year into working with them, I opened up a commercial laundry. So like your denim blue jeans that you wear.
Mm-hmm.
So we were washing those on a very large scale, and I saw they needed that. So I brought some money together. We opened this business. It was flourishing. Unfortunately, my father got ill. He came with prostate cancer. So things happened, and it moved from Central America. Then we were in South America. Fast forward to about 2005, I was ending my career in the garment industry, and as you can remember, there was boom in real estate.
Right.
And I figured, let me see what the next chapter is going to be. Unfortunately, in that time, I was in Colombia, and I got held up at gunpoint in Bogota. So from one day to the next, while I was in Colombia, I literally changed my life, and I said, okay, it's time to start over. And real estate is what I jumped into.
That had to be quite an experience.
It was quite an experience. It was quite an experience, but the more quite of an experience was coming back, getting involved in a fix and flip operation where I had no idea what I was doing. And one thing that I'm going to say to everybody out there who's listening, the most important thing that you can do when you're starting your journey is to get the right mentor, because if you don't have the right mentor, what it can cost you and the lumps that you're going to find along the way, Neil, I can't even imagine.
You pay for it one way or another, right?
You pay for it one way or another, and it's a lot better to pay for it up front than to learn along the way, because the time that you lose in trying to figure out when you don't know what you're doing it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and oftentimes we learn the biggest lessons in life. This has historically been true for me. We learn the biggest lessons in life when we lose, when we don't win.
Right.
Right. It's sometimes when you win, it's actually hard to even understand exactly what went well all of the time. Well, but when you lose, you are certain what went wrong.
Oh, of course. Winning covers up. Listen, when you're making money and when you're winning, it covers up what you did wrong. But when, like you said, on the flip side, when you lose, it everything is glaring and everything comes to the surface.
Yeah, you're exactly right about that. So where are things, bring me to today, where are things today in business and I guess bring me through. So maybe from 2005-ish, you got into real estate. In fact, I'll back up.
So
from being held at gunpoint, how long did it take from that moment to going, I got to change everything?
Okay. So from being held at gunpoint, it took me a month to then go and get my mortgage license. I literally got my mortgage license. That was at the end of 2005. I sprinkled in a little in 2006. I was investing. I really didn't know what I was doing. I was getting my feet wet. End of 2006, I got my mortgage license right before the collapse of the entire mortgage industry.
Yeah. Perfect timing.
So basically, perfect timing. So I was taking money out of my house, investing with a partner who I thought knew what she was doing. We were trying to do $1 million flips as opposed to $200,000 flips to start. Ended up at, I would say probably $1 million to $1.3 million in debt, 7 foreclosures. I had a 400 credit score. And I had two little kids. So, the title of your podcast about grit, I had to show some.
Yeah. So bring me through that. I suspect that took place all the way through the crash.
All through the crash. Basically, it was terrible. We were doing loan modifications. We were doing whatever we could to stay afloat. And I ended up walking in 2000, I think it was the beginning of 2009, dead broke. Okay. Yeah. In foreclosure.
Actually, had just past broke. You were negative.
Oh, negative. Right. Broke was a good place. Broke would have been a good place to be. I was 7 foreclosures in bankruptcy. I walk into, I'll never forget it, into the Dade Real Estate Investors Association meeting. And I walk in and basically I needed to find some contacts. So I walk in and portraying myself as the mortgage lender who had nothing but money to lend.
Okay. You took a position.
I took a position. I needed to meet some contacts. I got involved from that one meeting in the Haitian community in South Florida, which is a very niche community.
Right.
And one thing led to another. I worked with one guy, then another guy. And then finally in like 2011, I joined forces with a guy who we ended up partnering, and we're still doing business to this day together.
Over a decade later,
I found that community and we bootstrapped each other. He was in worse shape than I was. We got together. I was finding him people who he could represent. I would do the mortgages, and little by little, one by one, deal by deal, we picked ourselves up. And 10 years later, if it doesn't kill you, it'll only make you stronger.
Right. So walk me through, you were in mortgages for quite a long time, and then walk me through how you migrated from mortgages and then back into houses.
Perfect. So I was in mortgages because I really had no money. I would have wanted to be in houses at that time, but I had to create transactions in order to.
So a lot of people end up in mortgages, or start out in mortgages, or start out as a real estate agent, because you're gonna make a fee as you go and learn some things as you go, and without having to put your own skin in the game, if you will.
Right. I needed transactions to be able to dig myself out.
Mm-hmm.
So like you just said, so the Haitian partner that I had, he was the real estate agent, I was the mortgage broker, and we were representing fix and flippers at that time. And we were like, listen, we know how to do this just as well as him. We scraped a few nickels together. I'll never forget our first fix and flip that we did when we got our we ended up buying a house. It was 15% interest. This was the hard money lender who was taking a shot on two guys who were down on their luck. 15% interest, 5 points, and then when we sold it, it was a 10% kicker.
Okay.
But you know what? It was the best game in town, and we appreciated him. We did a few deals with him. We got ourselves together, and basically what we ended up doing was I was fix and flipping from like 2012 through the end of 2017. Come end of 2017, from in those 6 years, I hadn't spent $1 in marketing. Everything was through referral, REO realtors. No, it was through referrals and REO realtors. I saw the writing on the wall, and it was like, okay, you need to find a new way to market, or you're not going to be able to get any deals. So that's when I started learning about direct mail and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So then bring me, but let's say in the last year, what's the last year look like for you in your business?
All right.
Is it wholesales? Is it flipping? I know you've got a number of rentals. So talk to me about that.
Yeah. Okay. So so I'll just take it from 2018 to the present.
Yeah.
So 2018, I finally started marketing direct to seller. At that point, I did some direct mail. I got involved with Brent Daniels' TTP program.
TTP,
shout out to Brent Daniels.
Yep.
Shout out to him. He definitely opened me up to the entire cold calling realm. So got a cold calling team together, had an office in Miami, realized that it was going to be too expensive. So set up a organization in the Philippines. From there, we just kept on chugging along. We were doing texting, we were doing some direct mail. And right now, through last year, I basically, I've got a lean machine where we have like 11 people in the Philippines. I have one person here in South Florida, acquisitions, and we were doing more wholesale before COVID, but as my real strength was fixing and flipping. I was always doing fixing and flipping, but I was also wholesaling. But then when COVID came and I saw the writing on the wall that the prices were just exploding, it was like, okay, let's do more flipping now, not leave much on the table. And that's what we've been doing from basically, I'd say middle of 2020 through this year. It's been more flipping, and then like you had mentioned, the Memphis buying and holding.
So more flipping. So some wholesales, but not a great deal. Really, the goal is to generate that cash. The implication of what you're saying is to generate cash through the wholesales, but to invest it in the fix and flipping because the margin is so much greater in the fixing and flipping versus the wholesales.
Definitely,
especially when you're buying, when you're buying seller direct for you to capture that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So I learned all the tools of being able to get the deals at the best prices, and then it was just the realization was, why would I sell these when I can just do them myself?
Right.
And like you said, the profits have exploded ever since COVID.
Fair to say that being bilingual has helped you dramatically, especially in the fix and flip world when it comes to the trade communication
dramatically, especially doing all these fix and flips in South Florida, where most of the workers are Latino. I have to thank my women from Honduras who taught me Spanish.
I'm jealous of you. I'd say 80% of ours are Latino, and I'm not bilingual today. It's on the bucket list. So I'll call you to practice when I get to that.
Yeah, no
When
problem.
I make that commitment to go, this is the year I do it. Yeah.
Really, it's all about immersion. It's about immersion.
Right.
If you can get yourself immersed in the culture, and you have to speak, you learn quick.
Isn't that true of everything though? Anything you want to accomplish, isn't it all about immersion? No matter what it is. Yeah.
100%.
All right. What took you to Memphis?
What took me to Memphis? So you and I
Yeah.
are in a mastermind.
Right.
Shout out to Joe Dillon. He
good friend
has
of
been
ours.
a great,
Joe's
great
Yes.
connector of people.
Yep.
So we were in a mastermind in the beginning of May in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And I met some people. Shout out to James Jones and Anthony Redmond and Marcus Kurth. I met some people at the mastermind. And the more conversations that were had, the more I decided that, it might be beneficial to make money in South Florida and invest it in a cash flowing area like Memphis. And that's when I took the leap.
So what you say there is you're turning dollars in South Florida through wholesale, through fix and flip primarily, and then investing the dollars, meaning putting the dollars to work in a permanent way by buying holds in Memphis.
100%.
And you're doing, is any of your work in Memphis seller direct?
Everything is.
So isn't that unique? You've got a transferable skill set and knowledge that you've built over the years, your ability to generate deal flow in South Florida, and it's just a plug and play. Just go to the market, do the same thing someplace else.
Yeah, it's incredible. Once you learn the tricks of the trade, it's all about being able to plug and play, just like you said.
Yeah. I'm going to pivot. We never get here, and certainly we're not influenced by ourselves and only by ourselves. As a child, who had the greatest single influence in your life?
Wow, that's a great question. Two people: my grandmother and my mom.
What heavy female influence? What was that like? What did you take away from both of them?
Well, young as I was young, my grandmother she instilled in me a lot of the hard work. Believe it or not, I learned a lot of my hustle from my grandmother.
Is that right?
She taught me how to play backgammon when I was, I would say 7, 8 years old. Okay. And she would not lay down. She would just try and beat me. And she made me want to work harder and harder. And it was a great lesson.
Yeah. What'd your mom give you?
Yeah. My mom, she just, she gave me the ability to have compassion. She gave me the ability to take everybody for who they are, from the doorman to the executive. You treat everybody the same way, and just the way that what you give is what you're going to get back. And the more respect that you give, the more respect that you're going to earn.
How does that bleed over what you've learned between those two lessons? How does that bleed over into the culture you've built in your business?
Well, basically, if you're not hustling at the beginning, it's going to be tough for you to get to where you want to go. Yeah. And really the whole issue of respect and understanding it's so important psychologically when you're dealing with the rapport aspect of trying to work with sellers and understanding what their needs are. It's as important as it gets, because you have to be able to relate on every level, and the rapport is what's going to create it's going to be what's going to create contracts for you, and contracts turn into to income.
Yeah. Knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
Knowing what I know now, my 35-year-old.
We all have a laundry list of that.
No, I started it when we were discussing. I said, knowing what I know now, it would have all been about the mentor. If I had gotten in with the proper circles when I was starting, everything would have changed. But you know what? You live and learn. And that's why whenever I get an opportunity to come on a show like yours, I discuss the mentor, because that not having the right mentor cost me probably 7 years and multi-millions of dollars of lost income.
Yeah. But don't kick yourself. Mm-hmm. We're all on a journey, and we're here today in the exact spot. Yeah. We're where we're supposed to be as individuals, right?
100%. Yeah. That's a great question, though. Great question.
Yeah. If you have to be known for one thing, what's it going to be?
What's it going to be? If I have to be known for one thing, it's going to be for the guy who, when he got knocked down and when he saw when the screen was black, I saw light. And a lot of people have their cups are half empty.
Mhm.
When mine had an eighth of a drip in it, I saw it full.
That's a choice. What would you tell people? So somebody who wants to go through a process of moving from wholesaling to fix and flipping, and then obviously buy and hold, but walk me through, what's it take to make that leap from wholesaling to fix and flip?
It's two different mindsets. It's two different skill sets. When you're in a wholesaling operation, real estate is the product that you're selling, but you're really not in real estate. You're in sales and marketing. And when it gets
doesn't matter what the product is, right?
Right. It doesn't matter what the product is, but when you're in fix and flipping, you have to understand, all the components, what it takes in order to get that product to the finish line. It's a completely different business. One feeds to the other, but like I said, sales and marketing versus design, construction, and then being able to sell that product, they're very different, very different.
And then making that the leap, maybe not a leap, but the add-on from fixing and flipping to just deciding what assets to hold.
Right.
What did that require? Quite a different skill set, a change, or
no,
what?
Because really the skill set of being able to acquire the properties at deep discounts, and then coupling that with my ability to understand what it was going to take to fix those properties up in order to be able to rent them out, it all melded together. So, being able to produce a product, meaning the real estate, at a cheap, at a lower level in terms of cost is what is really beneficial when it comes to buy and hold, because a lot of people who don't know real estate, they'll come and they'll over improve on a property.
Right.
And when you have a renter in there, they could just they could tear it up.
Right. And when you over improve it, in many cases, you're not getting, it doesn't yield you any more dollars in rent.
No,
it's just not proving anything. And then the last two pieces of the rent puzzle were proper financing and then proper management.
Oh yeah. Without
being able to tackle those, but coming from your background in finance, you had the finance component dialed in.
Yep. And then the management, my ability. So when I was in the garment industry, I was maneuvering people around, and I was always figuring out, when you're in a factory, you have to figure out who's best for what job. Mm-hmm. And in the same between my fixing and flipping and then managing people, it's just understanding what everybody can do, and then figuring out how to get them in that position where it's best for them, and then it's best for you.
The right people in the right seats.
That's it.
Yep.
100%.
That's it. Let's do this. Let's move on to what I call the final four: impact. What's your favorite quote?
I have a few quotes. Okay. Right. One of them was an eye-opening quote. Another one is a quote that I just love. It's, "The man who moves mountains starts by carrying away small stones."
That is so true, is it not? That it all.
It's
right. And then the interesting thing about that is, unless you're in this, like you and I are, and understand what it takes to move a mountain, you start by moving small stones. The people from the outside just see the mountain move, right?
Right.
They don't see the day. They don't see the work.
No, it's like the iceberg. You only see the top, but look at everything down below.
90% below the surface. Yeah.
Exactly.
Good. What was the eye-opening quote?
Eye-opening quote is, "If you care as much about the poker game as you do about your business, we won't be having these conversations."
I laugh. I said that to Brandy when we played poker because
and I appreciated it. Yeah. I needed it at that moment.
Yeah, but Brandy runs a poker game. This is the man. Doesn't mean you necessarily take everyone's money, but it does mean that if you're going to organize a game, you're the guy I want to organize the game, because it's going to run. It's going to run tight. It's going to be on time. Yes. Otherwise, there's too many. It'll be the longest game in history. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think holds most investors back?
It's mindset. There's a few things. Mindset is what holds many people back. It's the abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset. It's wanting to hoard your ideas because you don't want anybody else to know what you're doing, where collaboration over competition beats out 100% of the time.
What do you think? So if it holds people back, what's that switch? What does one have to, if they have a limited mindset, a limitation mindset, what's that switch? How does one get over that hump?
Really, it's difficult when you're in it, and when you're thinking scarcity, it's tough to see the outside. But once you realize, and once you can see that how other people have flourished, not being afraid of spilling their secrets, and you understand it, it just opens everything up.
Yeah. Outside of real estate, what are you passionate about?
What am I passionate about? I'm passionate about my wife, who we're going to be we're going to have our 25th anniversary
25.
This coming up August.
Congrats, buddy.
Passionate about my two sons, my 18 and 20-year-old. Shout out to Luke and Bennett.
Yeah.
I love to mountain bike ride, and I'm interested in crypto investing.
Yeah. Crypto's always a fun conversation. What's your favorite way to make an impact?
My favorite way to make an impact is to be able to show somebody else what it is that I've been through, what it is that I've been able to become, and then to give them tricks on how they can shorten their process and be able to work in a way where they don't have to feel the bumps and bruises.
Yeah, well, you're really an inspiration because you have been through quite a bit, and your attitude is infectious because you're able to keep a positive attitude and figure out, especially going through as much as you've gone through, how do you chip out of it? How do you get out of it? And didn't change the man that you are. In fact, it revealed it through those tough times.
Yeah, no, it made me who I was, as opposed to, cowering to whatever shortcomings had been in those periods. Yep, yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's terrific. What does next year look like for you? Where are you headed?
What does next year look like? That's a great question. So 2022, I want to continue to acquire rentals here in Memphis. I'm at 55 doors between my own and a partnership that I have.
55.
I'd like to be well into the mid hundreds by the end of 2022. I want to keep growing my team. I have a great team in the Philippines. We're shout out to all of them. We have a good acquisitions manager here in South Florida. His name is George. Might add another acquisitions, but really just grow the buy and hold, keep wholesaling a little bit, doing some flips, and I don't want to work so hard, but creating the buy and holds here in Memphis, it's definitely something there where you learn to sacrifice on the front to get the profits at the end.
Yeah, then you can live the lifestyle, pull back a little, and I know you'll mountain bike some more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Probably end up so for the last 2 summers we spent a month in Park City, and this year we're looking to spend probably 2 months plus in Park City and me working from there. So that's
really, it speaks volumes to your team and your ability to put the right people in the right seats, and your ability to lead them to be able to take a month or 2 months. I don't want to say off, but in an alternative location.
Exactly. Never off. Listen, you and I both know, as an entrepreneur, your phone is your office. Yeah. And I agree.
No, that's great. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here. If people want to connect with you or stay in touch or follow you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, probably the best way is through Facebook. I have an Instagram, but I really don't use it that much. My Instagram is at Brandy Pollack. Facebook, it's just my name. And anybody wants to reach out, I'm always available. And like I said, I really appreciate you having me here. And I look forward to running that next poker game with you.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I really appreciate the time here. Well, hey, from everybody here at Real Grit, I'm Neil Timmons. Just wanted to remind you that real estate requires real grit. I'll see you next time.
Appreciate it.
If you like our content and want more, you can access it at realgritpodcast.com. You hear it guest after guest. Instinctively, you already know it. But let me call it out. The most expensive action is inaction. The real estate market is full of opportunities. You just need to uncover them. You can build a business that lasts for years, makes monumental impact in the lives of those that you love. It's not just about business, but about the freedom you get because of it. Have you ever heard the saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I believe that partnering is essential. In fact, I partner with hardworking investors all the time. The point is that you can get a lot further with the right partner. Let me say it again, the right partner. If you've ever thought about partnering with anyone, or if you have a partner now, I encourage you to download my free Partner and Profit Guide, which includes the top 5 must-answer questions to evaluate a profitable partnership. You can find it at www.legacyimpactpartners.com. I'll see you in the next episode.